Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I&R spoilers. Audra's danger, Martin meeting ends in trauma and terror. The Young and the Restless I&R spoilers reveal that Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson, was clearly traumatized by Martin Laurent, Christopher Cousins. Ashley met Martin thinking he was Alan Laurent, also played by Christopher Cousins. Alan claims that Martin is a dangerous sociopath. Tucker McCall, Trevor Street John, also ran into Martin, but thought he was Alan. With Audra Charles, Zulika Silver, also in Paris, could she get roped into Martin's dangerous scheme? Keep reading to find out what could happen next with this storyline. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Audra Charles' Paris mission. I&R spoilers reveal that when Tucker tried to delay the Paris trip once again, Audra lost control. Audra was furious even though Tucker wanted to help his son, Devin Hamilton Winters, Brighton James. Audra decided to go to Paris to take control of Glissade. That led to Tucker going to Paris as well in order to stop Audra from making all these meetings. I&R spoilers. Ashley Abbott's trauma. While Tucker is dealing with Audra in Paris, Ashley and Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, are in Paris as well. When Ashley insisted that she had drinks with Alan at a specific bar, it was clear there was something else going on. It turns out that Ashley was having drinks with Alan's sociopathic twin brother. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Tucker McCall's run-in. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Ashley is determined to get to the truth about what happened to her. As Alan tries to get Ashley to remember and fight the alters, Tucker is still baffled by his bizarre run-in. When Tucker ran into Martin, he thought it was Alan. Tucker tried to shake Alan's hand and greet him, but the psychologist acted like he didn't even recognize him. Tucker hasn't been able to get it out of his mind and even spoke to his assistant about it. Then Tucker left a message for Ashley to tell her about the encounter. I&R spoilers. Trauma and terror. Audra hasn't run into Alan, Martin, or even Ashley in Paris yet. However, it has to be coming. Is it possible that Martin could target Audra? If anyone tries to warn Audra, she would lash out. Especially if it's Tucker that tries to warn her. Could Audra end up in the same dangerous situation as Ashley? Could the rivals actually bond after Tucker eliminates Martin? Females fighting over a man is really old. It would be nice to see more female friendships, so let's see what happens. What are your predictions for Alan, Martin, and Ashley? What does the future hold for Tucker, Tracy, Audra, and the rest of the Genoa City residents? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The summer sun was setting over the town of Genoa City, casting long shadows across the well-manicured lawns and the sprawling estates. Despite the picturesque scene, a storm was brewing, one that promised to shake the very foundations of the lives of its residents. At the center of this unfolding drama was Audra Charles, a woman whose presence in Genoa City had always been marked by mystery and intrigue. But now, it seemed, danger was closing in on her, and the ripples of fear were beginning to spread. Audra had always been adept at navigating the treacherous waters of business and personal relationships. Her sharp intellect and keen instincts had served her well in the corporate world, where alliances were fleeting and betrayals common. Yet as she sat in her dimly lit office, staring at the ominous message on her phone, she felt a chill run down her spine. The message was simple, but its implications were vast. Meet me at Martin's. Midnight. Come alone. Martin's was a name that evoked a mix of fear and respect among the elite of Genoa City. The secluded estate on the outskirts of town was known for hosting clandestine meetings where powerful decisions were made and secrets were traded like currency. Audra knew that whoever had summoned her there had significant leverage, and the stakes were higher than ever. Meanwhile, across town, the residents of Genoa City were blissfully unaware of the brewing storm. Sharon Newman, busy with her coffee shop, was preoccupied with her latest romantic entanglements. Nick Newman was caught in a whirlwind of corporate battles and family drama, his focus scattered across various fronts, And yet, in the midst of their personal struggles, a dark thread was weaving its way through their lives, one that would soon draw them into the unfolding terror. As the clock struck midnight, Audra found herself standing at the imposing gates of Martin's estate. The air was thick with tension, and the silence was almost suffocating. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, her mind racing with questions and fears. Who had called her here? What did they want? And most importantly, what dangers lay ahead? Inside the mansion, the atmosphere was equally tense. A group of shadowy figures sat around a large table, their faces obscured by the dim light. At the head of the table was Victor Newman, a man whose presence commanded attention and respect. His piercing eyes scanned the room, settling on each figure with a mix of scrutiny and suspicion. He had orchestrated many such meetings in his lifetime, but tonight there was a sense of urgency that was hard to ignore. Audra entered the room, her eyes meeting Victor's with a mix of defiance and curiosity. She knew she was walking into a lion's den, but she had no choice. Victor motioned for her to sit, and the meeting began. Victor's voice was calm but authoritative. "Do you know why you're here?" Audra shook her head, her heart pounding in her chest. "No, but I assume it has something to do with the message I received." Victor nodded, his expression unreadable. "There have been developments. Certain parties are interested in your recent activities, and not all of them have your best interests at heart." Before Audra could respond, a loud crash echoed through the room, followed by the sound of footsteps. The doors burst open and a group of armed men stormed in, their faces hidden behind masks. Chaos erupted as the men demanded everyone to get on the floor, their voices harsh and threatening. Audra's mind raced. This was no ordinary meeting, it was a trap. She glanced at Victor, who seemed remarkably composed despite the situation. He locked eyes with her, giving a slight nod as if to say, "Stay calm." The leader of the intruders stepped forward, his gun trained on Victor. "We have no interest in your money, Mr. Newman. We're here for information." Victor's eyes narrowed. And what information might that be? The leader smirked, his gaze shifting to Audra. "We want the details of your latest deal with the overseas investors. All of it." Audra's heart sank. The deal in question was one she had been working on in secret, a venture that promised to revolutionize the business landscape of Genoa City. But it was also a deal fraught with danger, involving powerful figures who would stop at nothing to protect their interests. Victor's voice was cold. "You think you can just waltz in here and demand information? You're making a grave mistake." The leader's expression hardened. "No, Mr. Newman. The mistake is yours if you think we won't follow through on our threats." As the tension in the room reached its peak, Audra knew she had to act. She glanced around, assessing her options. The men were well armed, but their attention was focused on Victor. She inched closer to the side of the table, where a hidden panic button was installed. With a swift, subtle movement, she pressed the button, triggering a silent alarm. Within minutes, the estate's security team would be alerted, but until then, they were on their own. The leader noticed her movement and turned his gun on her. "Trying to be a hero, Ms. Charles. Bad idea." Audra met his gaze, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her veins. "You won't get what you want. And even if you did, it wouldn't end well for you." The leader laughed, a harsh, mirthless sound. "We'll see about that." At that moment, a commotion erupted at the entrance as the security team stormed in, weapons drawn. The intruders, realizing they were outnumbered, began to retreat, firing shots as they went. The room descended into chaos, with Victor's men engaging the attackers in a fierce gunfight. Audra ducked under the table, her heart pounding as bullets flew overhead. She could hear the shouts and the sound of bodies hitting the floor. The minutes felt like hours, but eventually the gunfire ceased and silence returned. Emerging from her hiding place, Audra saw the aftermath of the battle. Several of the intruders lay incapacitated, while Victor's men were already securing the area. Victor himself stood unharmed, a testament to his unyielding resilience. He walked over to Audra, helping her to her feet. "Are you all right?" She nodded, still shaken but grateful to be alive. "Yes, thanks to you." Victor's expression softened for a moment. "You showed great courage tonight. But this is far from over. Whoever orchestrated this will come back, and we need to be prepared." Audra knew he was right. The danger she faced was not just a result of her business dealings but of the powerful enemies she had made along the way. As she left Martin's estate that night, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger, more terrifying ordeal. Back in Genoa City, the news of the attack spread quickly, casting a shadow over the town. Friends and foes alike began to take sides, alliances shifted, and the stage was set for an epic battle that would test the strength and resolve of everyone involved. For Audra, the path ahead was fraught with peril. But she was determined to face it head-on, knowing that the stakes had never been higher. The game had changed and the players were more dangerous than ever. In the end, it was a matter of survival, and she was prepared to do whatever it took to come out on top.